Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And today, at the end of the meta, it's time to do a world tour for the 3rd anniversary Divine General team. Now, I didn't do this for Octagram Demon Lord or Antagonist because we kind of just got a whole bunch of stuff slammed together, and I didn't have time. I'll probably do those eventually. Maybe when there's a super huge dead period, but, at this point, EX teams can get the jobs done easily, and EXU teams are going to be just a cakewalk. Not that they were never not a cakewalk at this point, because Conquest and Tempered Edge are so very old, but this is the big time 3rd anniversary team, so we should be doing it with them. So today we're going to be going through all of the old Conquest stages, which are, early game priorities for new players. Now, I don't expect every player to have the entire Divine General team, but just know that even if you only have Raphael, Diablo, Gazel, and Elmesia, it makes this stupid easy. So, we're just going to put that into practice alongside the hero and Blanc because it's the entire meta. But let's just go ahead and jump in. Okay, so this is this is not going to be very difficult. We don't have a water unit on this team. Not that it really matters that much. So let's just do a green orb change and a green buff. Get 4 of these. Gazel is earth, so he will take extra damage, but Ifrit, unless you're brand new, does not do that much damage to us. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and he's already missing a 5th of his health. So, oh, yeah, thank you for that counter. Appreciate that. Alright, how much does this do? 1200 damage? Okay, my units will be quite a bit tankier than other people's. We will put that on the table by all means. But none of these stages should be overly difficult. Maybe the Golem and the Orc, because they do have that stun, that could pose a problem to newer players. But apart from that, I'm not really feeling the urgency, really, per se. How many points do we have? 97 points. Yeah, let's just do this. Let's get you out of here. We will orb change, synergy buff, and then do it again. We'll reset Diablo and Gazel because we have Elmesia. The one thing about this team is it's not quick and easy. Like, it does take a minute out of any fight, anywhere you want to go, if you are going to try and optimize it. That's the key word. If you're trying to optimize this team and go for premium damage, it's a job. It's a chore almost sometimes. And I think that is one of the huge turnoffs of this team, is it takes so long to get going. And even when it is going, it takes so long to continue. And Ifrit's dead. So we're just gonna... Well... Okay, there you go. He is actually dead. I can see the future. Okay, well, there's Ifrit done. Let's move on to Chabby? I think Chabby's next. Alright, well, plus side is, we don't have anyone type disadvantage. We also don't have anyone type advantage. So, plus sides, downsides all over the place. Let's just go ahead and bring in these 2, and we'll send the 3 Blanc orbs. This one doesn't have as much health, does heal though, does have some defensive mechanics, and can heal itself, which could be interesting, give or take, depending on what your team build looks like. Take Blanc out, we'll send these 3 Raphael orbs, that'll bring in 4 hero orbs, which you can then bring in for Blanc next turn. Yeah, I mean, what else do we have to say about this team other than the fact that a lot of people have not truly enjoyed it? I guess is the nice way of putting that. Hey, you know what? Let's rewind. Why not? Let's use everything available at our disposal, which also includes... I want to leave Gazel in, because we need to orb change. Yeah, we'll just take Raphael out. Not a big deal. I want the green buff. Boom. We're going to send this 5-hand of Blanc. That gets her ult, so now we're pretty much ready to go on turn 4 when the rewind ends. Or we might just kill, depending on how this turn ends up. because he won't have time to heal. That's really unfortunate. That was also the story of my life in Jubilee, is just one green orb and nothing else. And I have no way to change that, so we're just going to continue to send this. And now, Gazel does actually, we don't have Amnesia, so Gazel doesn't get an ult. So he's going to heal, and another big time heal. And debuff us? Sure. 93 points. I think we're going to be okay. I think. Think being the key word. Could always be very wrong about that, am I right? Could always be like, it's just not enough to kill, but we're going to add a bit more power onto that and seal his resistances. Not that he really had any to Synergy, because Synergy at this point did not exist. So, alright, Blanc. Show me what you got. Yeah, good job. Proud of you. Moving on. Good news, everybody. We have a wind enemy, which means we need space units. And we have some space units. And we have a 5 send of Diablo, which is actually a 5 send of... no, Blanc ulted already. Let's give it to Raphael this time. So, let's have some fun together, and let's think of good things about each of the remaining units, since I think there's 5 stages left, and there's 5 characters here. Technically 6, you want to count Amnesia. Good things about each individual unit, starting with Raphael. Really good support. Really, his second. Oh, he's already dead. His second skill is already quite generic, right? Because the stacking ult and synergy power is good for anyone using synergy and anyone who has an ult. His space and dark buff, it covers quite a lot of units, like a lot of units. It's not every unit, but it's a lot of units. So he's, I'd say, a little bit less generic, but still good enough to run on a lot of teams that require a space or dark nuker. Alright, the Golem. And we got a lot of Diablo orbs. Let's talk about Diablo. He's, I think, unequivocally the best unit to come out of this entire batch. Like, I don't think there is a competition between him and anybody else. He's way too good. 100% synergy power means that 2 years worth of the game is fodder for his buff, and a 50% green buff that costs nothing is like the epitome of, yeah, here, why not? Like, yeah, no, I don't really feel that bad about it. Let's just give it to you for funsy onesies. Like, if the whole team was as good as what Diablo is, and ran as well as what Diablo is doing, like, we would be in a much different scenario for this 3rd anniversary team. Unfortunately, it's not. And just because he's doing a green buff doesn't mean you can't bring him on other teams that are not focused on using green orbs. Like, you could put him on any team, and any team that, like, you even remotely think wants to use a skill multiple times, like, he's gonna do that. He's gonna do that, and there's gonna be no real problem, because maybe you do need to use a few more orb changers. Maybe that Visions of Kolia's Violet skill, or orb change, you want to use twice. I don't know. Diablo's gonna let you do that. It's gonna cost a bit more, because there's not a reset, but he's gonna open up a lot of possibilities on a lot of teams, not just previous teams, but future teams. His trait is ass, though, and his ult is ass, so does hold him back. Doesn't mean he's not a really, really, really good unit, though. See, now that we're in a stage where we want to use a dark character, maybe I should have talked about Diablo this time. Oh well. Let's talk about the hero. Much maligned. People, I know, are not a huge fan of her, and I think that's more because they expected something different out of her. But as it stands, the hero is an exceptional unit. Like, there's no other way to get around that fact that what she is bringing to a team in general is powerful. Because for the last 2.5 years, we've used the old hero for a rewind buff and a crit buff. Excellent. So now for the next 2.5 years, I guess, we'll use this hero for a rewind and a pierce buff. So now we've covered, like, the 2 different gamuts of the 3 major buffs, being crit and pierce. So them being roughly the same character in both kit and unit is kind of boring. Yeah, I'll give you that. And I do agree that they should have done something else with her. But if the old hero is still good today, what makes this hero bad if she's almost mimicking, but with a more powerful buff? Not much. Like, it is disappointing. Like, I'm not going to try and sugarcoat that. I did want her to do something else other than a 30% alt rush on a team that didn't need an alt rush. But if you put her on a team that doesn't need an alt rush, or didn't have one at the time and needs one, like, it's going to look a lot better. So, there's a lot of discourse, and I won't deny that. But I think overly hating this character is a bit unnecessary, is where I'll put that. Raphael, let's go ahead and hit with you. And let's give you some extra alt damage for funsy onesies. So, the hero, objectively good, just not quite what we were hoping for out of her kit. Oh, look, we pierced too. Nice. Natural. Moving on. And once again, I should have talked about the hero in her own stage. Oh well. Blanc. Yeah, Blanc. She, probably the most unnecessary character out of this meta. And that's coming from me, who really, really likes Blanc. It's just not what we needed. The triple alt swap for space is cool, only hits 2 characters on this team, and I do get, like, the whole, yeah, let's send the support alts, but there's something to be said about getting 10 more stacks of Raphael versus sending some stupid support alts, because you're breaking up a 6-hand send of greens, which denies you skill points and denies you protection gauge, because alts don't really give anything of that to you. So, no. I'm not a big fan of her triple alt swap. Does it help space characters? Yeah. Are there a lot of space characters? There are now, yeah. Does that mean I'm going to run every single team on space? No. Would I run Overlord Shizu, or would I run even Idol Shuna over that? Probably, yeah. So, unfortunate on that aspect. She has a really good turn 2 protection trait. The first space character to do that. That's really good. Cannot deny that usefulness. Her alt buff, though, again, a bit unnecessary, because we're already getting a lot of alt from Raphael stacks, which is the whole reason why this team exists, to reset, is to use a lot of Raphael stacks. We wanted that crit. We should have got that crit. We didn't get that crit. So, extra alt damage, regardless of how powerful it is, 150, it is the single strongest buff of alt damage in the game on one skill, is cool. But there are already a lot of characters that did that. We didn't need another one. And I can't orb change, so we're just going to send these. So, unnecessary. Necessary for whales, maybe, because we want to have that turn 2 protection gauge, and we're going to find a use for her as a single target space nuker. It's just that, if I was given the choice, would I rather bring Blanc or Raphael to be space nuke and compete with the team? And I don't actually know the answer to that question. What would I bring more? Obviously, I'd probably bring Blanc because mine is personally duped higher, but if they were level 100 across the board, which one would be more useful for damage output? It's going to be Raphael. Just straight up. The ceiling with Raphael is unlimited because we can stack unlimited amounts with him. Versus Blanc, she's restricted to only a space team, or space units that are going to get an alt swap, and that's it. And then weakness resistance down, which if you're not weakness, or if you're not type advantage, other characters aren't going to benefit off of that. So, very unnecessary, but useful for some people. Only some. Oh my god, we can end on a high note, right? Because we got Earth Gazel versus Space Milim, the fated showdown. Gazel, I think, is a huge disappointment. He really holds the team back. And I'd say it's unfortunate, but obviously they did this on purpose. Oh, that's a good hand. Because of I mean, this team is trying to do 3 things. Stack, reset, and stack some more. And what Gazel's doing is, yeah, he's stacking skill point increase on greens only for Divine General orbs, which, if you haven't looked, there are not a lot of Divine General units, so it's halfway, useless. And his big-time 90-point debuff is a really strong debuff for a free-to-play character, but I'm not making a team full of free-to-play units, generally, unless I'm going into Chamber of Memories or something. And I've proven through science in videos, it's on record that his debuff is objectively worse than like 3 stacks of Raphael, which is what you're gonna get if you skip his 90-point buff. So, I mean, does that make him good? No. Does it make him kind of stupid? Yeah, I sure would put it like that, wouldn't I? So, I'm not a super huge fan of him. By this point, the tier list has already gone out, so you know where I placed everybody, and whether or not you agree with those rankings is up to you. Tier lists are subjective. No one's ever going to be happy with every single tier list ever put out in the world, because everyone always has different tastes. Everyone has their own brain, they can think differently, and that is their right. They can think differently than whoever made X and Y tier list. However, we have no Gazzle Orbs. However, what the thing is that we cannot... I guess, refute is the fact that this team needed different things in order to make it run better than what it is. The beatdown battle was built for a double blue orb changer. Gazzle changes 1. We don't have enough points to do him twice. We don't have a protection gauge to reset him immediately to do it twice. So why is that? Why is his green buff only for Divine General? This is a 3rd anniversary team. Why is it not generic like what Visions of Coleus was? That team had basically no restrictions, except for the EX alt buff for Jean that was locked to Primal Demons. Like, oh, whoop-de-frickin' do. So, big miscue on Gazzle's kit. I think Gazzle getting a new unit is cool. Like, we haven't ever gotten a new unit of him since the OG release, so that's nice. It's unfortunate that his OG release character is more useful than this one in 99% of scenarios, if not 100, because his other unit is on this team still, in a support slot, but eh. And since we're at the end of the video, Elmesia, she's really good. She can lead any team. We proved that in the Chamber of Memories video. She's good. Her supporting cast of units around her maybe didn't quite live up to expectations. But that is the end of the World Tour for Conquest. We will be back with the Tempered Edge stages upcoming, and then by the end of those, we'll probably be in the next meta. But that's it from me, guys. Take it easy, and I will see you all later.